Hi guys, I've just gotten off the phone with one of my clients and we're talking about the martyrdom complex that many of us have picked up off of our mothers often. Mothers have been taught in generations prior to us that whatever they do isn't enough, that they have to keep trying, keep doing more, being more, and that you martyr yourself to look after your children. And this leads to bitter, exhausted, and mothers who are checked out. I know that we have this kind of whole thing about the 1950s kind of mother thing, but the 1950s mothers of the household, those Stepford wives, they were often on a lot of stimulants. And I mean, I'm talking kind of cocaine and methamphetamine stimulants. These were things that were diet pills that were very easily given out. And then they would take Valiums to go to sleep. And what we need to recognize is that often that Stepford wife view of things is actually a functioning drug addict. And they're only able to do the amount of stuff that they were doing was because they were functioning drug addicts. The joke of gin and Valium isn't a joke. This is serious. This is something that mothers used to do. And it was that mothers would martyr themselves for their children. And they would martyr themselves and do everything to make sure that the child had everything that they needed. And it feels like a good thing to do. It feels like a really, a worthy endeavor. But I want to tell you right now, if you're a mother who is martyring yourself and you are spending a lot of your time focusing on being amazing 24/7 and doing everything, like you're doing everything to yourself, you're doing everything for your children, doing everything for everyone else, and you're feeling hollow and exhausted and probably suffering from chronic sickness or heading that way, you are not helping yourself and you're not helping your children. What you are teaching your children is to have low boundaries and no personal self-care. That is what you're teaching your children, because it's monkey see, monkey do. And this is why a lot of the women that I'm working with now who are, in their mid to late 30s, or 40s, and they've got children and they're exhausted and they're suffering from chronic stress and chronic, pain in their bodies, and they've kind of painted themselves into this corner of giving more than what they can give, and so having to keep giving more than what they can give because that's the expectations that people have of them now. And they come to me and they are exhausted and they're done and they are bitter. They're bitter because they give more than what they can give. And by giving more than what they can give to other people, they've got nothing left for themselves. And they keep waiting for people to come and fill their cups up, and nobody's coming. Nobody is coming to rescue you guys. You have to rescue yourself. And if you are a mother who has suffered from this martyrdom complex because we've seen your mother do it, you know that when our mothers martyred themselves for us, that the gift of whatever they were giving came tainted because they were bitter, or they were tired, or they were exhausted, or they were giving more than what they wanted to give. And so it wasn't authentic. It wasn't given with love. It was given with, necessity. I feel like I need to do this, so I'm doing it. That's not love. That isn't a genuine gift. If I give you something from love because I want to give it to you, that's a lovely gift. But if I'm giving you something because I feel I have to give it to you, and I don't really want to give it to you, but I'm doing it anyway, and I'm bitter because I'm doing it, and I'm tired and I'm exhausted, can you see how the energy is different? And we as children of mothers who had the martyrdom complex, we have the very difficult journey now to learn how to dismantle this programming, the programming of martyrdom, and how to put ourselves first, because our parents can't teach us things that they don't know. So your mother was a martyr, so they've taught you to be a martyr. And this leads people, not just women, people to giving more than what they want to give and being hateful for it. And if you've suffered trauma along the way, it becomes a hurricane, a shitstorm of stuff that leads people to be very, very sick and bitter and angry, and often leads to chronic health conditions that force you to stop to take check of your life, because you can't go on anymore. And often the reason why you have been made sick is because you have never tended to yourself. Your self-care habits are shit. Your self-love behavior isn't on point. You don't care for yourself. You don't look after yourself. You're not doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing because you're martyring yourself. You're giving more than you want to. And the very first radical action is to stop. I said to my client this morning, enough is enough. We often have this very black and white view of that I have to give all or I'm giving nothing, and it's this all or nothing ideology that trips up many of us because we feel like it has to be perfect. If it's not perfect, I may as well have not done it. And this high standards of perfectionism is the thing that trips us up. Enough is enough, guys. I have a client who feels like she needs to do a lot for Christmas for her child. And that's great. But if you're killing yourself to give your child a Christmas that you can't really enjoy because by the time you get around to it, you're so tired and exhausted from working 2 jobs to buy presents and do all this and spending hours and staying up late to bake mince pies and all this shit. How is that a good Christmas? And how are you teaching your children to have boundaries or to have self-love or to put yourself first? Because radical news, guys, you are the most important person in your life. Even if you have children, you are the most important person in your life. Because your children learn from you and you are the steady, stationary foundation that your children stand upon to learn. And if this foundation is all blah, 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 and all upside down and inside out and sick, and one minute it's happy and doing everything, and the next minute it's doing nothing, and it's angry and it's bitter, and where's the steady foundation for your children? And people think, oh, I teach my children different things than I do. I tell them to what's that phrase our parents always say? Do as I say, not as I do. Like, how fucking incongruent is that? It doesn't work that way, guys. It's monkey see, monkey do. Your children will watch you and they will do what you do. So you have to look after yourself like you are your own child, particularly if you've been raised by people who have got low standards or low boundaries or, whatever, martyrdom complexes. You have to cosset yourself every day like you would your child, which means you get up in the morning and you don't feed your children sugar for breakfast and chocolate for breakfast. And if you are doing that, you need to check yourself. You should be giving your children a healthy, balanced breakfast. You should be giving them water. You should be giving them fruit and vegetables every day. You should be making sure that they're not sat on the screen all day and they're getting outside and they're enjoying their lives and that they have balance in their life, that it's sometimes work, sometimes play. And you're teaching them all the best things because that's what a parent should do. And that's what you should be doing for yourself because it starts with you. Everything in your life, in your family, starts with you. Starts with the parent. You are the original team, mummy and daddy. If you're still together, you are the original team. And when you guys serve yourselves and look after yourselves, you become a very strong foundation that the children can then learn off of. So if you're suffering from martyrdom complex, just recognize that nobody wins with that. And you really lose. And so it's time to put that down. Because you're not Jesus. You're not being killed for other people's sins. It doesn't work that way. So it's time for you to take back control and take back your life and remember that the most important thing for you right now is self-care. And through self-care, you will heal and you will come out of fight or flight and you will heal your trauma and you will be able to rectify probably a lot of the physical symptoms that you're probably going through, as well as the mental health ones. And you will teach your children by doing that how to do it for themselves. I hope you enjoyed that. I love you all very much. Good luck. If you've got any questions, queries, if you're not sure about anything that I've talked about today, please leave me a message down below and I'll get back to you. But I love you very much and I'll speak to you soon. Bye, guys.